The day my wife got served divorce papers, her lover lost his job, his home, and his entire family, all within 24 hours. I didn't yell, I didn't hit anyone, I just let the truth do the work. You know that moment when betrayal cuts so deep you stop feeling anger and start thinking strategy? That's where I was.
If you've ever been lied to, if someone ever treated your love like a joke, you're going to love this one. Hit that like button, subscribe for more true stories of justice served cold, and buckle in, because this isn't just revenge. This is the quiet destruction of a liar's entire world. Way back in the early 2000s, life looked normal. I had a good job, 2 beautiful kids, 4 and 6 years old, and a wife I thought I could trust. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Our evenings were full of laughter, Disney movies, and my kids fighting over who got the last scoop of ice cream. I thought I had everything a man could want. But then, little cracks started to show. My wife, let's call her Karen, started spending more time away from home. She said she was working extra shifts or visiting her parents who lived an hour and a half away. At first, I didn't question it. She was a great mom, and her parents adored the kids.
But then my children started talking. One night my son said, "Mommy took us to Grandma's again today." That was weird, because she had just gone 2 days ago. And then my daughter chimed in, "Yeah, Mommy said she had to meet a friend for lunch." My stomach sank. Something wasn't right. I asked her casually, "You've been going to your parents' place a lot lately, huh?" She smiled, that tight, fake kind of smile, and said, "Yeah, Mom's been feeling lonely. I just want to help." But the thing is, Karen was never a good liar. She had tells. She'd avoid eye contact and start fiddling with her necklace. So I decided to test something. Every morning before she left, I wrote down her car's odometer reading. After a week, she had driven 400 extra miles. 400! And I knew something was going on.
One evening I sat down at the computer. Her AOL window was still open, and right next to the keyboard was a sticky note. On it, her password. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was desperation. But I logged in, and that's when my heart shattered. There were emails between Karen and her old college best friend, laughing, joking, and bragging. She wrote about seeing someone special again. Then she got specific. She was sleeping with her ex-boyfriend from high school. And the cherry on top, they were mocking his wife and calling her fat and boring after having kids.
My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. I remember just staring at the screen, reading those words over and over again until they blurred together. I printed every single email, slid them into a folder, and hid it under a loose floorboard in my office. Because if she was going to destroy our family, I wasn't going to let her take me down with her. I called a buddy of mine, a police officer, and told him what I'd found. He said, "You need to call Ron." Ron was a private investigator, ex-cop, the kind of guy who didn't just find the truth, he hunted it. I paid his retainer, gave him the emails, and waited. 3 weeks later, Ron called me. His voice was calm, professional. "Yeah, she's seeing him regularly. Same pattern. Every week, he sent me the report. Times, dates, photos. Karen would drop the kids off at her parents' place, meet this guy for lunch, then they'd drive to a dingy motel on the edge of town. Every single time. By the time she'd come home, smiling like nothing had happened, I'd be sitting there pretending I didn't know.
I wanted to scream, to throw her out. But instead, I smiled back. Because I knew this wasn't over yet. My parents had cheated on each other. Their war ruined my childhood. Every Christmas, every birthday turned into a battlefield. I swore my kids would never go through that. So I went to a lawyer, told him everything. asked for the divorce papers. But I also had one more request for Ron. Find out everything you can about this guy. A week later, Ron came back with gold. The guy's name was Bob. Married, 3 kids. Worked as a vice president of sales for his father-in-law's company. And that's when the idea formed. Quiet, clean, and devastating. The day the papers were ready, I timed everything perfectly. At 10 a.m., my wife was at work. That's when a courier walked in, handed her a manila envelope, and said, "You've been served." Meanwhile, across town, Ron was knocking on Bob's wife's door. He showed her everything, the photos, the dates, the truth. She cried. Then she thanked him. What she did next, that was all her. Within hours, she cleaned out their joint bank account, packed up the kids, and drove straight to her father's house, the same man who owned the company Bob worked for. By evening, Bob was jobless, homeless, and single. When her father found out, he fired Bob on the spot. And since he also owned the house Bob and his wife had lived in, Bob was evicted too. I didn't lift a finger, just watched the dominoes fall. What came next was chaos, public, ugly chaos. Court records showed their divorce turned into a war zone. Bob tried to get custody, failed. He showed up at the house one night screaming and got his nose broken by his ex-wife's brother. Restraining orders, police reports, jail time. His life imploded faster than anyone thought possible. And me? I walked away clean. My kids stayed with me most of the time. Karen got her share, but I never let her drag me into fights. Years later, when the kids grew up, I told them the truth. Not the ugly details, just enough for them to understand why things ended. Now, I don't talk to her at all. I don't hate her, but she's just someone I used to know. You know what's funny? Revenge didn't feel like fireworks. It wasn't loud. It was quiet, calm, like finally taking a deep breath after drowning for years. I didn't need to yell or hurt anyone. I just needed the truth to come out. And when it did, justice took care of the rest. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. It helps more people find stories like this one. Tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And don't forget to subscribe for more true tales where karma finally catches up.